Om Tat Sat. Então hoje eu estou aqui com uma pessoa muito especial que eu conheci aqui na Índia. Ela é uma pesquisadora, é dançarina também e tem trabalhos assim, muito importantes, muito relevantes dentro da dança. E eu achei que seria um desperdício, assim, não aproveitar essa oportunidade para falar um pouquinho com ela. So Debra, thanks a lot for accepting this invitation. I'd like you to tell a little bit about your work and what are you doing here in this land?
In this land. Well, this is my fourth visit to the temple, and my first three visits several of them were around Mahashivratri. And I had studied Bharatanatyam in New York with Indrani Raksa. And she taught me one dance in which she called it the dance of bliss, the Ananda Tandava. And in the dance, there is a section that said, and Shiva danced ecstatically in the Golden Temple. And I said, where is this Golden Temple? This was in 1995. And she said, Chidambaram. So my son, who was then about 5, was watching me study with her. And he said to me, he said, Mom, when you're older, I'm going to get you a little place in India so you can dance, because you're always happiest when you're dancing. Unfortunately, my son died about 3 years ago, but because of that, I came here immediately, well, not immediately, but a year after he died. And it wasn't until I got here that I really felt that I could mourn, but I knew that, I had to just sink myself into the dance, because Nataraj has been my salvation and my spiritual leader since I was 2 years old, because I've danced since I was 2 and I'm now 67, so that's about 65 years. So I looked at the karanas, I became very interested, and so I made a proposal to the Fulbright Association. So I'm here on a Fulbright for 6 months, and I'm documenting the dance reliefs at the Parvati Temple, Sri Aman Temple, the karanas here in the North Gopuram, and then the recently revealed dance reliefs in Murugan Temple around the base. So one of the reasons I'm doing this is, first of all, they're subject to erosion, and because of climate change, there are really extremes in temperature and in the weather. So first of all, these reliefs are vulnerable. And secondly, I'm fascinated with dance preservation, and it's part of my history of what I've done, reconstructing dances from other eras, the Bauhaus. Also, when I had a residency in Rome, I studied the sculpture there and did a choreography on Psyche and her fourth task, when she goes to the underworld. So like you, the most important thing to me, having studied also with Martha Graham, who said, where the dancer stands ready, that place is holy ground. I have always felt that dance is spiritual. And it's it's my religion. And Nataraj has been my salvation all my life. So to be able to have received this Fulbright and have 6 months here has been such a privilege. And so that's what I'm doing here.
Nice.
And you too understand that spiritual aspect of dance.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we can see here all the
Yes.
time, as we were saying before. Also, when you see the dancers, the sculptures, you can see that they are doing the puja. They are
Every
completely-
gesture
yes.
has a religious symbolism, right?
Yes.
It has a holy meaning. Yeah, and you see that. Yes, you feel that.
Yeah, definitely.
When you're dancing, you feel that too.
Totally. That's what makes me dance. At least for me, it's like that.
It's your inner. It's your
Yes.
intention. It's your drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm a movement analyst, and so I use the Laban movement analysis to also analyze the sculptures. And as I said earlier, I feel, and you experienced with this studio where you're studying, this sense that there's more three-dimensionality in the ancient dance than what actually contemporary Bharatanatyam seems to present, which feels to me more two-dimensional. But I feel in studying these dance reliefs at the Parvati Temple in here, that they are much more three-dimensional. And rotational and serpentine and sinuous. And so the vision of those dancers here doing puja with the musicians is something that is exhilarating to imagine. And it's also sad because it was outlawed. And we lost, thousands of years of dance heritage. So I think people like us hopefully can bring back some of the understanding and appreciation of this beauty and the treasures of this temple.
Yeah, I also hope so, both in the movement, as you are saying, the dimensions of the movement and things that were lost, as well as this inner drive that takes the dancers to dance and what they are really doing behind the movement, both what we can see and what we cannot see. Both things I think they have to come up again as strong as they used to. I hope we can...
The sacred aspect.
Yes.
I agree.
We can do something for this dance. Thanks
And
a
also
lot.
in the West.
Yes.
I mean in the West,
Definitely.
because in the West, well, you have it in Brazil, though. You have the sacred quality in your dance in Brazil. But, in America... Oh, another thing is, one of the things, the West takes so much pride in saying that, dance was codified in the court of Louis XIV. But as I'm, cataloging all of my photographs, I see all the dance positions that were codified by Louis XIV here, which were codified thousands of years earlier. So in fact, I even call them by their balletic names sometimes if it means that it's just easier for me to catalog them that way. But, so we're kind of arrogant in the West about dance, but I think if we can bring this awareness of dance as sacred and active, sacred activity. I mean, Natya was active, nat means to act. And so the dance was about being active, and bhakti, the devotion to Natya must be active. Every morning I do a dance. I do my dance to him. It's like my prayer instead of meditation, which to me that's...
Yes. It's a way of meditating, for sure. Very nice. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's very nice because Padma Subramania also says that when she teaches the Karmas and actually can be a dancer of any kind of dance. Yeah. So something else to another